Okay, Lori.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Um, I am not that used to this platform, as none of us, it's semi-new to all of us. It's a little tricky, so hopefully it'll all work out. It's great to see your names on this list. I can only see a few people right now, but I see all your names there. And I want to say that I really miss meeting in person and look forward to that, hopefully this year sometime, and that we'll start having more regular PAC meetings, I hope, too, soon. We have a full agenda today, so I think I want to get on with our staff reports as soon as possible. And I just want to say, we're glad to be together.
Thanks, Lori. A couple housekeeping things. Please, if you can, turn your video on so we can see you. And there's a chat feature. You can send a chat if you have a question, or you can raise your hand. But just so you know, Lori's interface is she's logged on as the chair you're all very tiny, so it's kind of hard to see visually. So if you want to raise your hand, you can just put a little note in the chat, and we'll call on you.
Yeah, I can't even see everyone in the interface. But
yeah, a lot of people have their video off.
And Shannon, this is Nathan. Do we need a roll call?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I'll jump in. Shall I jump in and do that, Miles?
I got it.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Nathan.
All right, for the PAC, Michael Baroff.
Here.
Francois Barr. No. Mary Patricia Dougherty. Marnie Gittleman.
Present.
Gwen Pugh.
Here.
Deepa Subramanian. Summer Vaughn.
Present.
And Chair Lori Yahia.
Present. I didn't hear Mary Patricia, but I know she's here. I see her. Did you hear her? Mary Patricia, do you have your audio on? We can't hear you.
Okay, there I am.
There you go.
I got knocked off just for a second.
She's present, and I know Deepa was present before, but now she seems to be knocked off. Oh, well.
I'll make a note of that.
Okay, so I believe the first item on our agenda is, well, we don't have any public comment, do we?
No.
Okay. It is the swearing in of our, let's see, that's going to be the joint. Oops, I'm looking at the joint. I'm looking for our agenda right now for just that.
We have the chairperson's report first, Lori. I'm not sure if you have any. If you maybe talk a little bit about Art of Recovery.
Okay. All right. I just found her. Yeah. So I think everyone is aware that the city has established a committee for economic recovery, and a subcommittee of that is the Art of Recovery, which has been hearing feedback. It's been working quite diligently to distribute grants from the private percent, and I think there will be more. I think, Shannon, it would be great if you want to give more detail on that. But there's representation from the Arts Commission, two commissioners now, Michael Masucci and myself, and Mike Myers, who's no longer on the commission. And then there are other community members, and we've been evaluating quite a few letters of intent, moving them into grant proposals, full proposals, and a number of them are on their way. So it's good that we're able to do that. I personally look forward to the Public Art Committee getting more involved again. Michael, did you have a question? Bhairav? Sorry, I think your audio's off, Michael. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. Other than painting those barriers on Main Street, could you kind of give us an overview of some of the projects that are in the works or that have been funded already?
Sure. Well, do you want to, Shannon, or should I go ahead?
Sure, I'm happy to. So yes, we've the mural project on Main Street. We did a Dia de los Muertos installation on the pier and on the promenade. We did a holiday installations in vacant storefronts on the promenade. Coming up is an African American history installations in vacant storefronts on the promenade. We have four new projects that are being announced in a media alert that's set to go out today. One is a dance project with local choreographer Suchi Brampman, former arts commissioner, and it's basically a virtual take on her residency in the correctional institution in the state. So it's prisoners telling stories, and then dancers create choreography out of them. So she's been filming that, and there will be a Zoom event for that. We have Building Bridges Art Exchange is doing the Rose River Memorial, which is encouraging the community to make handmade felt roses. They can pick up kits and make a rose and then bring it back to Bergamot in what will be an installation to commemorate the deaths in COVID, from COVID. There's What's 6 Feet, which is a physical distancing thing that's happening in Virginia Avenue Park and on the pier. It'll have an Instagram Pass It On challenge. And what's the other new one? And then we have two that are coming up that are around capturing community stories. One with a local artist and the other with Santa Monica Repertory. And those will be put on in an archive online. So those are some of the ones that are being rolled out in the coming weeks and months.
And may I ask what has been the budget expended for these so far?
So far, I think around 150,000.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'm curious to know how far we've come on getting an online display of all the art. What I got was essentially a printout that I printed out, and I'm wondering if our website project is getting closer to being accessible for everybody.
We do have an Art of Recovery page on our website that lists projects, and we have let's see, we need to update them with the newer projects. And then we just published a blog post on the city's website, trying to find it here, that has a lot of imagery from all the projects as well. So I will send you that link. Or if you'd like, I'm happy to share my screen so you can see.
Well, the question was, do we have equal access to all the artwork, whether it's visual, auditory, whether it's an installation? Do we have some, I'm just curious, one discussion that I was part of had to do with art in the space itself. And of course, that's pretty broad. But,
excuse me, Mary Patricia.
Yeah.
Right now, we're talking about the specific program, Art of Recovery, and I think you're asking a broader question about the works that have been accessioned by the city, right? All of the works? Am I understanding you correctly?
well, it's more, not exactly, it's more to do with when we prep ourselves for the meetings, what's the best way to see the pieces? For example, for Art of Recovery, would we drive by and look at it, or could we do it online? And you just answered one of my questions, which is we have a page for Art of Recovery, which I have seen. And it sort of ties into the last question I heard Commissioner Myers ask or direct us to pay attention to, which is to get a web page or to get some sort of online record.
Yes, our public art collection is on publicartarchive.org, and Mike had two different things at the last meeting. One was putting Lives That Bind online, which I've sent you the link to that online exhibition and the videos from the curator, and that's on publicartarchive.org. The other item is that he wanted imagery in advance of action items, and so in our 2 staff reports that was sent to you for our joint meeting, there are images of all the artwork that we're discussing.
Perfect. Oh, great. I'm excited.
Thank you, Shannon, clarifying that. Okay, any other questions on Art of Recovery? I think we may want to move along in light of our tight agenda.
Yes. So next up, Naomi.
Hello, everybody. I'm sorry, I have garbage trucks in the background here, so I hope you can hear me. Just wanted to give an overview of what we're looking at for our joint meeting coming up. We are going to be discussing 4 items for deaccession from the collection and 19 items for accession to the collection. Did everyone get a chance to read through the staff reports on those items?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Were there any questions? I know we'll have questions in the joint meeting from everybody, but I can answer anything
Well, maybe just in general, the decision-making process, just to give us a little process background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some of you or most of you were here for our last sort of semi review of the procedures around deaccession. That was quite a while ago now, but we were looking at the Robert Merrill Gage panels, and we reviewed the procedures for deaccession. I forget now, Shannon, if those were included in the latest update to everyone. But basically, deaccessioning is a fairly rare process. We do take it very seriously, as these items are in our charge. There's a sort of bulleted list of the various factors that we need to consider when looking at deaccessioning. The relevant items that we're looking at for some of them, they do vary from piece to piece. But for 2 of the items, the murals, the impetus for deaccessioning is a change in the state of the walls for those murals. Things that we unfortunately can't do anything about. The demolition of the parking structure in one case and the partial demolition of the wall in the other case. And then for the other 2, we have, the last one, Twilight and Yearning, the main issue is that it is now considered a public health hazard. And a side issue is that it's not accessible to the public. So as a work of public art, it's a little difficult to say to offer something that's not available for the public.
And Naomi, wasn't that always considered a temporary piece?
Yes, in terms of the contract with the artist, it was always considered something where the natural flow of water and the work of the atmosphere on the pieces were supposed to deteriorate the pieces.
I think
yes,
something about cleaning up the bay, I believe.
Yes, it's a pretty interesting project, and we can go over it more in detail in the joint. And then the last piece or the first piece is the Gage panels again. So we've been, based on your recommendation the last meeting, talked about these. We've been storing them, but we now have the opportunity to transfer them to the Santa Monica History Museum. Take a look at that and join as well.
Yeah, just to say something about that. I mean, it is really nice that since Gage was, a fairly significant sculptor, that we have a place for those, that the History Museum is taking them. So, and they're somewhat problematic too, so it's nice that they can contextualize them historically, whatever they do with them. We will need to make a recommendation to the Arts Commission whether to approve this as a slate or individually. So, does anyone need to be taken through them more, or if you've had a chance to read it, are you ready to vote on whether to approve the staff recommendations on deaccessioning these 4 items? If there's anyone who needs more, please let us know now.
And just to clarify, Lori, that vote won't happen until the joint meeting. But if anyone has concerns or want to discuss anything just among this group before the joint meeting, we could do that.
This is Summer. I have a question.
Okay.
I know a little bit about the Twilight and Learning, and that the boats are intended to be released if and when the Santa Monica Bay,
The Santa Monica Bay.
Heald Bay. With Heald, I believe it's when it gets a A rating from Heald the Bay. That I might have that a little wrong there, but so question 1 is are the boats in good enough shape to be able to ever be released, or will they just become trash? And 2, I'm assuming that has never happened, and that's why they are still there.
Yeah, I can answer that. So yes, the Bay has never received an A rating, I guess, in the term that the boats have been installed. So that part of the idea was part of the artist statement. It wasn't actually incorporated into the contract with the artist, which simply stated that the boats would be subject to decay and removed. But certainly the boats are not in a condition to be released. And I think we would want to reconsider that idea anyway. Releasing anything into the Bay would be problematic. But yes, the boats have been deteriorated to the point where I'm not sure that they are actually seaworthy.
Okay, thank you.
Gwen?
A question. I mean, part of it was actually seeing those boats deteriorate was part of the concept of it, as I understand it. So is there a reason to take them away at this time? In other words, are they really dangerous, or is that really a concern? Would it be somewhere down the line that they should be deaccessioned, or is now the time? Why is now the time rather than sometime later, given that's part of the concept?
I think that the issue is that it's become a public health hazard. It's used as a urinal. It's used for drug activities, and so it's just unsafe conditions at this point, given that it's the area under the pier is closed. Naomi, anything to add to that?
I heard the word, and I've heard this a few times in different contexts now, attractive nuisance. So when it was first installed, these boats were hovering over the water and were not accessible by foot. Since that time, the boats have been buried about a third of their length in the sand, so that much sand has been deposited onto the coast, and it's only increasing. So people can actually walk up to them, and they have. So over the course of their lives, they've been tagged and pieces have been broken off of such, and unfortunately we weren't keeping a close eye on that. But at this point, they have some protruding bits that are sharp. They're in a place that has on both sides of the piers noted no trespassing signs. There have been several incidents under there. So there's an overall kind of hardening of security above and below the pier that we're now responding to as well.
So I mean, it's kind of interesting because it really was about a project in time and what happened to it. Has this been recorded? Has this been documented? I mean, I think that in itself is an interesting story in terms of how people interact with art and what happens to it over time.
A really good point, Gwen.
Really
Yeah,
good.
it would have been fascinating to have a time lapse camera up there for the last 2 decades,
Yeah.
for sure. We have documented only very sporadically in terms of the graffiti that have taken place.
Maybe before it's taken away, it could be documented and someone could write something about it. It could be a nice invitation for an artist.
Like some sort of a montage from the different years, including the installation, and actually perhaps even film the deaccession process as part of the piece history.
That sounds like a good idea for all of these pieces that are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be very valuable because, I mean, you know, as we go back to look at the history of our community over time, whether it's Belmar, whether it's other parts of it, it's a lot of it's very hard to recover, sort out. So at some level, it would be wonderful to have, and same of those sculptural pieces. You know, it'd be great if the History Museum documents how that came about and why it became deaccessioned, and how they acquired it and what they're doing with it. I think all of these, you know, how people's opinions of what's appropriate and what's not have changed, I think is part of the cultural history as well as the art history.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Great. And I really like the notion of building into our deaccessioning process this respect for remembering and what happens when we take something out of our deaccessioning is sort of taking it out of the public memory in a way. So yeah, I think that would be great if we could look into that.
I'll just note in here, this is Naomi again, that all the pieces are documented on Public Art Archive, and when we deaccession, the idea is just to note that it's deaccession but still retain it up there as a record. So that would be a good place to post videos or documentation of that.
Great. Okay. Any other?
We just have 2 minutes. Naomi, do you want to give a brief Belmar update?
Sure.
Matt, we didn't do the accession process, did we? We didn't talk about the accession pieces?
We have not.
Pardon me?
No, we haven't yet.
Oh, is that going to come up, or we're going to Belmar? I thought it was part of the accession, deaccession. So I was going to ask the same question about a little process, how such pieces that come up for consideration come up into the staff's radar, basically. Just curious.
Yeah, I can answer that. So as outlined in your staff report on the accessions, all of the 19 pieces that are considered are sort of irregular in that we own them already, but they didn't go through a juried accession process, which is the norm for art bank accessions. So these are pieces that have come through various means into our possession, and so we are storing or displaying them, but they are not actually part of the collection until they are officially accessioned. And so in the staff report, I've outlined how groups of them have come in various formats to us.
Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Sure. So just for Belmar really quick, I know we're right on to the joint time frame, but we have the sculpture is at the shop and is getting painted. So we're very excited to see hopefully soon some some more progress photos as they're entering the finishing process. We know that the paint takes at least a week to dry, and there are some assembly things as well, but we are really crossing our fingers that we're going to see this sculpture very soon. And it does look very good that they're going to be able to, knock wood, get this delivered by the 19th, which is their deadline. So right after, as soon as it gets delivered, I've asked our contractors to consider installing over the weekend so that they will just immediately in the ground. I'm hoping that that is possible. And if so, we'll be seeing the pieces in the ground the week of the 22nd. So that's all dependent on weather and factors, but we're looking very hopeful. And on top of that, so we're pursuing a date at the very end of the month for our site dedication and opening ceremony, which will take place on Zoom, but we'll have some pre-recorded elements. So we're lining up our partner City TV to videotape the installation of the sculpture and various other activities to create some great content for this opening celebration, which we're hoping will take place on Sunday the 28th. So we're getting ready to nail that date down. We just wanted to get a few more milestones from our sculpture fabricators. Coming right up on Monday the 15th of this month, April Banks has been working with Crossroads, some students and teachers at Crossroads, a little mini residency where she's been telling them about the Belmar project and giving kids access to the historic photos that she's been working with. And they've written or drawn responses to those photos and curated their own little slide decks of the photos. And so she's going to be projecting those on the side of the Civic Auditorium on the evening of the 15th, which is a Monday. She's going to be live streaming that, so we're promoting the live stream, especially as we don't, we really can't accommodate people coming too much live in person to visit. So hopefully people will tune in. I've got that link now up on the Belmar website. It's just right now a link to April's YouTube channel, but the live stream will be up there on that.
May I ask, is that put out in some PR notice in some way, as opposed to just being passively, with all due respect, there, that people are actually invited to it? Is there a way
so
to?
We're treading a little fine line between inviting people and not asking people to come in person on the site.
No,
But,
I meant the live stream, that people know that but the live stream itself. I'm only speaking about the live stream, that there's a PR notice that goes out that people will know that it's there, not just that you posted it on the website that someone has to know to go there.
Yes, absolutely. We're working with a new press company, ACE, who's going to be helping us get the word out, and they're actually working on a press release for this week that will include information about that.
That's great.
And the other event, which is Tuesday the 16th, the day after, for Black History Month, our colleague Delana is hosting a panel discussion on Zoom as well.
Great.
And that's up on Eventbrite, so on the Belmar site.
Right.
And that's it for my Belmar update.
Thank you, Naomi. Thank you. And I think it is time for us to adjourn and move into the joint meeting. Do we need a motion to adjourn?
So,
No, you no longer need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, we no longer need one. Okay, then we're going to adjourn and move into the joint committee meeting.
Thank
Hello,
you.
everyone. It's good.
I have one housekeeping. Whose phone number is 917-789-0809?
Chalice, me.
Who's me?
Eric?
Yes, that's me.
Okay. Hi, Eric. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. You're welcome.
All right. So we have Michael Masucci here, our vice chair, to call us to order, and we can do the swearing in.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see you in these terrible, strange times, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's my privilege and pleasure to welcome our two new commissioners, which I believe most of you have had the chance to meet already. Angela and Rosia, as well as to welcome back our colleagues, Lori and Michael. And I will now swear you in, starting with Angela. And I just wanted to say that Shannon had alerted me, Angela, that you are the recipient of a Celebrity Black Excellence Community Award. Congratulations to you on behalf of all of us.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
Congratulations, Angela.
congratulations. So now, Angela, just repeat after me. I, Angela D. Scott.
Did I raise my right hand?
Yes. It doesn't really matter, but yes, it's fine.
I, Angela D. Scott,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Art Commission.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Art Commission.
Congratulations, Commissioner Scott.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone.
Rocio, it's your turn. I, Rocio Garcia,
I, Rocio Garcia,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the United States of California,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I would faithfully discharge the duties
of the Arts Commission.
of the Arts Commission.
Congratulations, Commissioner Garcia.
Congratulations.
Commissioner Veroff,
Yeah.
your turn.
Oh, good. I'm back. Yeah.
You're back. Congratulations. Michael Veroff,
Yes. I'm Michael Baroff, yes.
do solemnly swear or affirm
I solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Arts Commission.
of this here Arts Commission.
Congratulations and welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Yahia,
Yes.
I, Lori Yahia,
I, Lori Yea,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Arts Commission.
of the Arts Commission.
Congratulations, Commissioner, and welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations to you all. Now we'll have a roll call, first of the Arts Commission, and then followed by a roll call of the Public Art Committee.
All right, starting from the top, Michael Baroff,
Present?
Eric Chalice. He's here. I think he might be muted.
Eric, you need to put your microphone on in the upper right-hand corner.
Eric?
Okay. Yes. Present.
Good. Solid. Rocio Garcia,
Here.
Janine Jackson. Okay. Vice Chair Michael Masucci,
I'm here.
Mary Elizabeth Michaels,
Here.
Angela Scott,
Here.
Deepa Subramanian, she here?
Deepa, are you muted?
I don't think she is muted, but I do think she is here. We'll move on. Jeff Swimmer
Here.
and Lori Yaya
Here.
and Kathleen Zadikian. Okay.
Thank you. And now a roll call of the Public Art Committee.
All right, Michael Baroff, you're up again.
I'm present.
Francois Barr. Mary Patricia Doherty.
Here.
Marnie Gittleman.
Present.
Gwen Pugh.
Present.
Deepa Subramanian.
Deepa is on. She just texted me. She said, "Can you hear me?" And I said, "No."
Perfect, we'll take it.
He's here.
Summer Vaughn.
Present.
And Lori, yeah.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
All right. So is there any public comment?
No.
All right. Then I'm going to hand over for the next few minutes the election of officers for the next year. And as you know, Mike Myers stepped down last meeting. And so we need both an election for a chair and a vice chair. And then a public art committee chair will be appointed or reappointed. So
Great. Thank you, Michael. Okay, so we will start with the chair and entertaining nominations. You can either put it in chat or it looks like we've got Mary Elizabeth Michaels. Yes, we can see you, Mary Elizabeth. So I'm entertaining motions for chair nominations. Lori?
I'd like to nominate Michael Masucci as chair of the Arts Commission.
Do we have a second or any other nominations?
I'll second Michael Masucci.
Any other nominations?
I would nominate Laura Yahia as vice chair if she's interested.
I would actually like to nominate Michael Baroff as vice chair.
Okay, well, let's do chair first, and then we can go back
Okay.
to
Thank you.
vice
Thank
chair.
you,
Does that
Mayor.
sound good? Okay, so let's take a vote. This is a yes/no vote for Michael Masucci as chair and Miles. Roll call.
All right. Yes. Right here. Michael Baroff.
Yes.
Eric Chalice. Yes.
Rocio Garcia.
Yes.
Janine Jackson. Michael Masucci.
abstain.
Fair. Mary Elizabeth Michaels.
Yes.
Angela Scott.
Yes.
Deepa Subramanian.
He says yes. He's texting me.
Good. Take it. Jeff Swimmer.
Yes.
Lori Yaya.
Yes.
And Kathleen Zadikian.
Okay, congratulations, Michael.
The motion
Thank
carries.
Thank you. We're in a time of transition, and just so you know, I don't know what the future is going to be any more than any of you do. So let's take the transition together, and let's think of this as a commission, and where everyone is a leader. Thank you. I appreciate this.
Okay, so vice chair.
I actually have a text from Deepa saying that she would like to nominate Michael Baroff as vice chair.
Okay.
And
Are there any, Nathan or Miles, are there any issues with receiving a nomination via someone that's texting in.
Well, I can make that easy. I can do an additional nomination for Michael Baroff if we need, or a second, if we need a second.
Yeah, and initially prior, Lori had nominated Baroff as well.
Right. So I'm basically seconding Lori's nomination
Perfect.
of Michael Baroff.
Great.
Thanks, Mary Elizabeth.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, let's take the vote.
Starting at the top again, Michael Baroff.
I thank you, and I accept by saying yes.
Eric Chalice.
Yes.
Rocio Garcia.
Yes.
Janine Jackson. Michael Masucci.
Yes.
Mary Elizabeth Michaels.
Yes?
Angela Scott.
Yes.
Deepa Subramanian.
She says yes.
Thank you for the receipt. Jeff Swimmer.
Yes.
Lori Yaya.
Yes.
And Kathleen Zadikian.
Okay,
Okay, the motion
congratulations, Michael.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I trust there's nothing inherent with being named Michael in these leadership positions over the last year. So.
No, it's a requirement. It's in the statute.
Okay. So with
At
that.
least you guys don't have the same initials anymore.
Oh,
Right.
good. Okay.
Well,
And
you do know that all the churches in Britain that are named Michael are over a prehistoric place of significance.
Excellent.
That's Mary. So there you go.
So let's bring that to the Arts Commission. We'll take that as a great energy. Thank you.
Now, if I can just briefly ask to invite Lori to continue her role as the chair of the Public Art Committee for the next year.
Yes, thank you.
I second that if you need a second.
No
this
action
is
needed.
not an appointment. Yeah, this is not an election, unfortunately. This is, one of those things where it's.
Okay, well,
But,
I submit my thank you, Lori.
But it's great to have the endorsement. Congratulations, Lori. You've been amazing, and I know you'll continue to lead this incredible group of people that we don't get to see all that often, but we're honored when we do. So with that, we will start the business of today, which is this joint meeting between the commission and the Public Art Committee. So again, I'm going to hand it over to Shannon.
Okay. So as you saw in the staff reports, we have a slate of items that we are bringing before you for deaccession and a slate of artworks that we are bringing for you for acquisition to the art bank. So I will turn it over to Naomi.
Thanks, Shannon. I have a PowerPoint with images, but I did not test it, sorry. So I can get that started and I can talk over it. To start with, are there any questions about the first 4 items, the deaccession items? Okay, I'm going to try sharing my screen. And
Okay.
Do you see my my slide? Can everyone see?
Yes, we do.
So first up is our set of 8 cast concrete panels by Robert Merrill Gage. They used to be part of the Friendship Fountain on the 3rd Street Promenade before it was the 3rd Street Promenade. These items came before the commission, or the Public Art Committee actually, quite a while ago, and it was decided to store them for the time being, and they've been in storage ever since. We got a request from the Santa Monica History Museum, like to transfer them over to them. So we are bringing this up for deaccession so that they may be transferred over. And in your staff report is, I think, a close-up of another of these, but here are all 8. And I think I'll just go through all of these and then we can take questions if that's all right. So next is a mural by Ava Cockcroft called Recycle, Renew, Repair, and Restore from 1996. This is a very, very long mural, about 280 feet, which is on Michigan Avenue right in front of City Yards. And City Yards has been undergoing giant renovation, changed a bit from its first scope, which was large, but the current scope still contains the new driveway, which is going, I believe, just to the right of the pipe that you see on this slide, and will be a double driveway cutting through this mural. So, right. This is just a little bit of a low-res scan through the whole thing. And then we have another mural by Gilbert Lujan, Another Magical Sunset at Santa Monica Beach. This is actually from 1987, and it's fairly well preserved. This piece is unfortunately part of public parking structure number 3, which is set for demolition and replacement with an affordable housing unit. So this is not as large, but the idea is that we are going to document it as we have already documented the Ava Cockcroft mural, a high resolution scan. And fourth is Twilight and Yearning by Manfred Mueller from 1998. This is an image as it was first installed, hovering over the surf here in a very dramatic shot. This is what they look like now. Unfortunately, the action of the breakwater at the pier has deposited a lot of sand, and it continues to grow. So these boats are now a third of the way embedded in the sand. Oh yes, in the next sessions. I guess I should pause here and we can go back.
Yes.
Yes, so now there'll be a discussion by the Public Art Committee and then a vote as to this proposal for deascension. And Lori, do you want to take over?
Okay, thank you. We had an opportunity to talk about this matter in our previous meeting. Is there any other discussion before we vote on our recommendation for the Arts Commission? Gwen?
I'd like to bring up what we had a discussion about, which was that while we're deaccessioning projects and art pieces, that there's a lot of value in the history and the nature of the projects and how they came about, what it's been like in terms of how they've weathered time and society, and particularly discussions, for instance, on some of the Gage panels that are perhaps a little bit more controversial now, and any publications that have been made of this, so that this is recorded as part of it, because it's too easy to lose our history, and this has been important in some way to our community and to the practice of art, and what that means and how it changes. And I think it'd be valuable to document it in a more significant way than saying this is what it was at the beginning and this is how it was at the end and this is why it was deaccession. I think there needs to be more of a story told on that, and I think it would be very valuable to the community to do that.
Many of us at the Arts Commission meeting agreed with what Gwen just said and thought it was an excellent idea. Naomi said that there is a place on the website where the documentation could go. The question is how that gets done. So I'm not sure whether we want to incorporate a recommendation to go along with our recommendation to approve this slate. We could do that.
I would like to make a friendly amendment to that we at least look at the possibility of doing that. We're not committing the city to do that or to have the cultural arts do it by force, but look at the opportunity. And there may be a variety of ways of doing that. It could be done as a high school thesis project or however it is. I mean, I think there are many ways. In fact, there would be a great way of involving our community, our young in the history of our city. I think it would be a very valuable opportunity.
Yeah, and if I may add to that, I mean, many schools require community service activities, so this could be cloaked or in that framework as well.
Excellent ideas. Okay.
I also would like to add that particularly with the Lujan parking structure mural, that's a little bit, I was there when we were on the commission and we voted it in, and it would just seem like we would be covering up history if we didn't do this. So I'm in great favor of that idea.
Okay, great.
So Lori, it sounds like you made a motion, but I think you need to kind of word it as such.
Okay. Well, is there any problem with the chair making the motion?
No.
Okay. So I would move that we recommend to the Arts Commission approval of the slate presented by staff for deaccession with an additional recommendation that creative ways be explored and hopefully implemented to document the life and deaccession process of these individual pieces so as to preserve their stories in our historical memory.
Second.
I'll second that.
I think I seconded her.
Oh, sorry, beg your pardon.
Thank you, Gwen, for initiating this idea.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, so we just need a vote. And
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
I think we probably want to do a roll call.
Okay, roll call.
Yeah.
Roll call. Michael Baroff,
Yes.
Eric Chalice,
Yes.
Rocio Garcia,
Yes.
Michael Masucci,
I'm not on the Public Art Committee.
Oh, this is just the Public Art Committee voting on this?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
My bad. All right, so Baroff, you're in. Francois Barr, is not in. Mary Patricia Doherty,
Agreed.
Marnie Gittleman,
Agreed.
Gwen Pugh,
Yes.
Deepa Subramanian,
Deepa, do you want to text me? She said she wanted to say something, but let's come back to Deepa if she responds.
no problem. Summer Vaughn,
Yes.
and Lori, yeah.
Yes.
All right, carries.
Oh,
All
wait.
right.
Oh, hold on. Deepa is texting. Nope. Deepa. We can't hear you, Deepa. She just asked if we could hear her.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's not muted. I don't.
No. Okay, let's move on. Sorry, Deepa.
All right, motion carries.
The motion is carried, and now it's being presented to the Arts Commission. So, as you know, commissioners, the Public Art Committee has recommended the proposal given by staff for de-accession. So, commissioners are open to discussion. One thing I'd like to say, jumping on Gwyn's very, very right on comments and supported by the others on the Public Art Committee, is that I think more and more the role, when we think of preservation is going to encounter many facets, one of which is more and more robust documentation. And as the technologies evolve, I know we're going to be migrating from 2D documentation more and more to a kind of 3D VR documentation, especially for sculptural work, so that it will never replace having been there. It'll never replace what the site-specific experience was, but it will give us a better inclination as to what had happened. And the routine creation of work, also involves its degradation and unfortunately sometimes its demise. But we can improve on the reflection of the past and the remembrance of the past by a collaborative effort to document the past while it is still the present. So I think any way that our collective minds can find ways to enhance the experience of preservation and documentation is well within the interests of this city and the purview of both the Arts Commission and Public Art. So I applaud what you said, Gwyn. Comments, discussion, questions? Are we then ready for a vote?
I think we need a motion.
Yeah, somebody want to bring that out?
I could move to accept my own motion. No.
You can. You're a commissioner.
All right. As a commissioner, I move to accept the Public Art Commission's motion to accept the staff's recommendation on the slate to be de-accessioned with the additional recommendation of the Public Art Committee.
We have a second?
Okay. I'll second it.
Mary Elizabeth, do you have a comment?
No, but I was going to second before Michael did.
Okay. So we need a roll call and we vote.
All right. Turn to the top. Michael Baroff.
Yes.
Eric Chalice.
Yes.
Rocio Garcia.
Yes.
Michael Masucci.
Yes.
Mary Elizabeth Michaels.
Yes.
Angela Scott.
Yes.
Deepa Subramanian.
She says yes.
A wave, Lori. Great. Perfect. Jeff Swimmer.
Yes.
Lori Yaya.
Yes.
And Kathleen Zadikian.
So the motion carried. Time for change. Art is rarely, for the ages, but it will be remembered and in some cases preserved. So we understand these are sometimes not easy decisions. All right, so we're going to hand it back to Shannon and Naomi.
So I'll hand it to Naomi. I'll just note Typically, the typical process for art bank acquisitions is we do a call for artists and then we purchase the works. These pieces that are being brought before you, this is kind of a works that we've commissioned or have had some involvement in the creation of over the past couple years, but they're not officially part of our art bank. And so we're bringing this to you today so that it can become official parts of our collection. So with that, I'll pass it over to Naomi.
Thank you, Shannon. Okay. All right. So the first set is 14 sketch watercolor combo works by Deborah Ashheim, created in the while she was working on Backstory. And these are the images that informed the creation of the art glass works that are now held inside Fire Station Number 1. So these framed works were chosen by members of the fire department, especially those who are at Station Number 1, for display in the hallways and in the meeting room of the building. And so they were installed just a little after the glass works were installed. So these are 1/3 of Backstory. Last third is the book Deborah has been creating. Actually now just hot off going out to you all.
I'm sorry, can you clarify that about the book? What is the status of the book, please?
The book has been printed, and we are working with Deborah to figure out what's the best way to sort of do a Zoom book launch, get them out to the libraries, etc., while still remaining socially distant. And unfortunately, nobody can go into Fire Station 1 to see the glass at the moment, but we hope, of course, that will change as soon as possible. Okay, the next, oh, sorry.
And those drawings, I remember, were donated by Deborah to the city, right? Yeah.
That's correct. Okay, the next set are a set of 3 works created or licensed to us for the 2015 TAP card project that commemorated the completion of Metro's downtown Santa Monica station. So these are 3 works that were made into TAP cards, but we also got copies of them framed to display, and they're currently on display in the mobility division area in City Hall East. So this is Santa Monica Beach by Cindy Bendat, Pier Promenade Party by Tom Etherton, and St. Monica by Mimi Haddon. This last piece, St. Monica, was also print was used as a award for the Arts Leadership Awards, and the next set of images are also Arts Leadership Awards. This is Ophioderma Cielo by Lita Albuquerque, Horsewave Stream Series by Barbara Gluck, and Storyboard. Jill Friedman. And then the very last piece is a maquette for a public art piece called Exuberant Birds. This is the House Finch. It's painted aluminum, and as you can see, is a fairly large piece. It's full size for the piece that's actually on the pole down on Marine. This was created in 2014.
Thank you, Naomi. I hate to be pushing this right along, but we do have a hard out at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to hand it back to Lori for discussion.
Okay, any arts commissioners? Do we have any discussion on recommending to the Arts Commission approval of the slate to be accessioned?
I'd like to make a quick comment.
Sure, Michael.
Yeah, I really appreciate seeing that. I know, like, for instance, Barbara Gluck, a longtime Santa Monica resident, and internationally known artists, as many like Lita Albuquerque, it's really nice to see such works recognized for the acquisition. So appreciate it.
And I'd just like to say that the accessibility of the pieces is to be applauded, particularly the bird pieces.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion?
Michael, I'll make a motion. Make a motion to approve staff's recommendation to acquire turn into access pieces this series that have been presented to us.
Okay. And a second?
I second.
Mary Elizabeth?
We need a PAC
Mary,
member to
no,
second.
no,
I
no.
second.
You're
Summer,
voting, Mary.
All right. Is there any discussion?
any discussion? Okay. Roll call?
Starting with the pack, Michael Baroff,
Yes.
Francois Barr, Mary Patricia Doherty,
I do some.
Marnie Gittleman,
Yes.
Gwen Pugh,
Yes.
Deepa Subramanian,
Yes.
Summer Vaughn,
Yes.
and Chair Lori Yahia.
Yes.
All right. Then moving on to the Arts Commission.
Oh, we need a motion.
Right.
So does anyone wish to accept the recommendation from the Public Art Committee and staff's proposal? I will.
Okay.
Mary Elizabeth, go.
Okay, yes, I make a motion to accept the recommendation and to move forward with adding the pieces to the collection.
Great. A
Excellent.
second.
I second.
Deepa also offered to second.
Okay. Deepa seconded.
Okay. All right. Into the list. Michael Baroff,
Yes.
Eric Chalice,
Yes.
Rocio Garcia,
Yes.
Michael Masucci,
Yes.
Mary Elizabeth Michaels,
Yes.
Angela Scott,
Yes.
Deepa Subramanian,
Yes.
Jeff Swinner,
Yes.
Lori Yahia,
Yes.
and Kathleen Zadikian.
Okay.
Excellent. So the
Carries.
city of Santa Monica now proudly has these pieces, and congratulations to everybody involved in making that happen. I think it's great. And again, I'm sorry to just rush things along. I hope in the future we get to have a little bit more breath. But there's going to be a discussion now about drafting a letter to the city council. As you know, I don't have to tell anybody the realities, the economics of what's going on, and especially hitting hard art organizations, nonprofits. So a discussion about whether we should draft a letter to send to city council in support of advocating for rent relief. It will, of course, have no legally binding status, but it may serve as a vehicle for a discussion that could lead to some good.
Question?
Please, Michael.
Do we have a sense of what we're meaning by rent relief? Are we specific, or is that just a general idea, concept?
Well, I think staff has been thinking about this. This is again something they've initiated and put forward. So if
Yeah, so the city and economic development has been working very hard on how to help these our small businesses, our nonprofit organizations, our arts nonprofits. They're expecting to go to council in late March with a proposed relief program. And so the thinking here was that a letter from the Arts Commission that was really prioritizing our arts organizations and artists be an important part of that relief program. And, you know, the city has no money. Our budget is worse than they anticipated. So things are pretty dire. But we're hoping now with the new administration that we will get federal stimulus. That's part of the reason it's been so bad, is because we haven't gotten any stimulus money of any note. And so I think that part of this letter too would be to prioritize stimulus funds to support our arts and arts organizations. So this item is basically you need to kind of give Michael Masucci the authorization to write a letter on your behalf in support of that.
Lori?
I would support authorizing Michael to write such a letter. And I saw on the agenda that it's focused on rent relief. And I'm wondering if that's particularly in Bergamot or in other areas.
I would say all.
Yeah, I would imagine it certainly deals with the airport. I say it deals with anywhere where the city actually has a substantive legal authority over this, and which are going to be a number of places.
Sounds great.
And again, to clarify from what Shannon said, that we're supporting the idea, however it manifests, and whether the artist group that's going to submit the proposal to the city council has specifics in it, we're kind of proactively supporting whatever they may propose. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I would say that my understanding is that, again, now this is not legally binding, so all we can do is advise and suggest, but that they do have the power directly to influence some short-term alleviation of the distress that's happening, and they perhaps have some influence over non-governmental, developers, landlords,
right,
to perhaps suggest leniency.
right.
So I think, I would write it as broadly as possible. Obviously, I would share it with you before sending, but we do have a bit of a time crunch, about a month. But the notion would be that we would, in as broadest, realistic ways possible, stress that the crisis hasn't gone away, and that a lot of things are lagging indicators. A lot of the economic problems that happened months ago will still be in effect even after the economy begins to turn around for small organizations. And I wouldn't just include nonprofits. I'd include, the galleries at Bergamot, basically arts organizations in their broadest sense, and let the city council interpret that as they feel.
Yeah, I think it's a terrific idea. I mean, I think it's really important for us to weigh in on behalf of artists. That's our mission. And, whether it changes any minds or opens any eyes in city council, we just have to hope. But I think that it's important for us to advocate for them and recognize that not only are they a group that we need to support as a city, but they're also part of the economic rebuilding of this city. And, there's also an economic incentive to do this. I don't think we should however we word it, I think it's important to stress that we see the arts as part of the economic engine that drives this city, and not just sort of a nice little charity to support on the side because it's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, note well taken. And when Shannon reports on Art of Recovery, she'll be echoing that notion that there is this large initiative that she's taken on that also states that. But you're absolutely right, Jeff, for us as the Arts Commission to also echo that reality. The reality is that the arts are not the recipient of a charity. The arts are the initiators of economic opportunities for many, many, ancillary things, restaurants, buses, You know, I mean, and everything gets touched and the money gets turned in many ways. You're spot on. I agree.
Yeah, I'd like to sort of expound upon that a little bit, you know, in as much as schools that have strong arts programs are serving their students much better. And it's been shown that having the creative talent being recognized is tremendously important and intrinsic to achievement. It's intrinsic to economics. It's intrinsic to the cultural life. It's intrinsic to identity. And that we shouldn't forget that that is probably as important as certainly any other aspects in a city, and probably more important than some. So I think really emphasizing why we believe this should happen, I think needs to be part of that. That this is for the benefit of the community, who has prided themselves on having a significant creative aspect to our society and what makes us a special community.
Well said. And it is very much part of the footprint of how Santa Monica has self-defined itself. I totally agree. I mean, I always joke when I hear educators say, well, we should teach music because it makes you good at math. No, we should teach music because it makes you good at music, which in and of itself is a very, very worthwhile undertaking and has in and of itself economic, intellectual, cultural, identity ramifications. So, yeah, I can't promise you this letter is going to get traction, but if we approve the writing of this, it'll sit on their desks and it'll be up to them to stand for why they ignored it or whatever actions they take. So I think it was a great suggestion from Steph.
Do we need a motion on it?
Yeah, I guess. Anybody?
Who would like move that a letter?
Oh, this is would be an Arts Commission motion.
Yeah, this will be commissioners can nominate, and I hate the hierarchies on this, guys. Maybe say this other ways, but their rules we didn't write. Okay. You were a commissioner, you know that. So, any commissioner in favor of this idea?
I'll move that we authorize Michael Masucci to write a letter as recommended by staff to the City Council, providing relief to artists and arts communities.
I'll second it.
Okay, Mary Elizabeth.
Oh.
We can do this by acclamation.
Yeah. So, all in favor of the motion that Lori has put forward, seconded by Mary Elizabeth, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, I promise I'll check my grammar and I'll actually have Lori double check the grammar for me. And I will send you a draft for comments way before deadline.
Michael, you actually can't do that.
Like I said, I'm not going to send you the letter. You'll never see it, and it'll all be typos and bad English. I will do the best.
Let me ask a question.
Of course, Mary.
We've had that question in that conversation before. Last year, when Michael sent letters on behalf, and we never got a chance to see it. So I appreciate Mike definitely showing it with us after the fact. But why is it that we can't see it before? Is that just because of Brown Act that we wouldn't be able to? Can he blind copy us?
Yeah, sorry. No, he can't send it out for edits before. But yes, we can definitely send you the letter before it gets transmitted.
And why not for edits? If let's say I had a major issue with something Michael said and I wanted to potentially ask to have it edited or changed.
He could choose a group smaller than a quorum to have edited it, but not larger than a
Okay.
quorum.
Okay, so for editing purposes, we can have a smaller group, but it can be shared with the entire group before it goes, but not for editing purposes, just for educational, to know what's going to city council beforehand.
Yeah.
So for point of clarification, Shannon, so if I send this out and somebody really, really thinks there's something wrong, can that one person, which is far less than Brown Act requirements, can that person contact me with her thoughts?
I think we maybe just want to have a conversation about the best way to process.
Okay,
any
all right.
editing.
Again, I don't want to know what the code is, but it anyway. I'd love to be transparent.
I have a further suggestion. Why not send the PAC, Public Arts Committee, that are not members of the Arts Commission, and would they be able to review it as friendly associates?
The PAC is a standing committee of the Arts Commission, so it falls under the same Brown Act rules.
Yeah, same rules apply. I mean, in my understanding of the Brown Act, it would even include people who aren't on either body. It has to do basically with being transparent for the public, but I don't understand why this is. But anyway, we will obviously have to conform and hopefully have some sort of guidance as to how we can involve you. Guys, we are running out of time, and I'm sorry, we are going to lose people at 1. So I would say, as much as I hate to say what I'm about to say, that we table my little chairperson's report, which wouldn't have been much anyway, the Public Art Committee, and as much as I hate to do this, to postpone one more time the Media Arts Committee updates and go right to the manager's reports, because they are very important.
Michael, we did have one other action, the approval of the minutes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess we can't not do that.
That's quick, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully people have had a chance to look at the minutes. If there are any corrections, comments, problems. If not, we will try to approve these.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a comment on one, so go for it.
I'm sorry, you do have a comment, Mike?
I will have a comment on, one of the, I will have a comment as we go ahead at least for the first one. Just a second. So
Well, I think now's the time.
Now's the time?
I think
Okay,
so.
well, it's real simple. I mean, I guess it's a clarification. The first minutes was from the January meeting, right? And I just want to, I will, motion to approve them, but I want to call out a line that, was something that came up back to our last letter. There was a motion for members of the commission to meet with the city manager back when, which we did. I had made a friendly motion to ask that a report be given to the commission on what went on during that meeting. I may be mistaken, but I did not see that information being dealt with in the subsequent minutes. So if I'm mistaken, I'll stand corrected. But if I didn't see that, I would like that to be brought up at some point in time. Otherwise, I will motion to approve the January minutes.
Yeah, and Michael, the meeting happened, early March? And then COVID hit. So there was no,
Yeah, no, I'm not, I understand the reason. I'm just bringing it up that at some point in time, I would like that motion that was unanimously approved to be brought back to us, just to get that on the record. Simple as that. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Not today necessarily, but I'm just acknowledging it.
Understood. Okay. I think we can make that happen.
Yeah.
But you have also motioned to approve the minutes. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Was there? Okay. By acclamation, All in favor who were present at that meeting? Say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? One, Mary Elizabeth, you nay?
No, I'm trying to remember if I was at that meeting.
Okay, it would be in the, it would be
I know.
in there.
I
Okay.
just can't access it as fast as I'm thinking.
I, for one, actually was absent from that, so I have to abstain. But otherwise, it has passed. So, and we can check whether your attendance was there, Mary. But,
According to this, I'm looking at it. Neither you, Michael,
I was
nor
at that one. It was the one before. Yeah, it was the one before when I was flying. You guys had a meeting when I was in the airplane, but I was there in January.
yeah, okay.
with all due respect, it says that you were not.
Yeah.
Oh, it's January?
I'm looking at the minutes, and absent were Michael Masucci and you, Mary Elizabeth. Yeah, according to the minutes.
We can go back and double check.
I was
I
looking
just
at.
confirmed it with the attendance report that there are 2 listed absent.
I have so many things open, I'm having a hard time finding it.
We can
Anyway,
double check before we.
Judgment call, Shannon. We are at 1. What do you think is procedure best? Should we continue with these minutes, or should we table the next minutes and give you a minute or two to try
I
to
think
run?
I think we can do all the minutes as a slate. Is that, Miles, Nathan, is that allowed?
I believe it is.
That, but it probably is.
The only problem is that you can't vote to approve minutes to a meeting that you weren't at.
Right.
Okay.
So if everyone wants to review, and we go down the line and take acclamation votes with those who were there, that would work.
Okay. Let's June 15th. That was a joint meeting also. Anyone want to motion to approve?
I move to approve.
I was there, seconded.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Opposed? Carried. One more. August 17th, a meeting to remember.
Absent were
Eric,
I
you
was at
and
that one.
absent were Eric, Lori, and Kathleen. Oh, late arrival, it says. I'm sorry. Eric was late. I'm sorry. Misreading. Okay.
I
I can
will
move to accept.
approve.
Yeah, Susan.
I'm sorry, Mary moved, and I guess I seconded or somebody. Or all right, among those who were there, all in favor?
Yay.
aye.
No? Carried. Okay, we have 3 sets of joint meeting minutes now part of the public record. Thank you. And now, again, anyone who has to leave, I understand, but what Shannon's going to go through is some pretty cool stuff. But
I'm so sorry I have to leave, everyone. I have to be.
okay, thank you, Lori.
Bye, Lori.
Bye, everyone.
And I can keep this very brief. I've sent you over the past few months different links to Art of Recovery projects. As I believe you know, Michael Masucci, Lori Aya, and Mike Myers are on the subcommittee that reviews and approves those. So the Arts Commission and Public Art Committee is represented within that project and its approvals. We have a press release going out today or tomorrow announcing the next kind of series of projects. There's vacant storefront installations by Black artists in honor of Black History Month on the Promenade that's coming up soon. There's a prison correction-based dance program where inmates have basically created stories that then choreographers have made into a movement, and that has been filming over the past week. They're creating a film out of it that will then be screened virtually and hopefully in person whenever we can. There's a project called What's 6 Feet that is kind of public art around physical distancing around the city, in particular Virginia Avenue Park and the pier. There is Building Bridges Art Exchange at Bergamot has a project called Rose River Memorial that basically is opening up for community members to pick up art kits and make felt roses to commemorate the number of deaths through COVID. And then they bring it back to Bergamot, and there will be an installation both indoors and outdoors to commemorate those. So it's an art making activity, but also an installation. So those are some of the projects that we have rolling out. We also have a couple of community story-based projects, and we'll continue to roll out new projects over the coming months. Belmar History Plus Art is almost done. It's in fabrication right now, the artwork. The interpretive panels are all up and circling the field at 4th and Pico, so we encourage you to go take a look. We're planning for a virtual grand opening later this month. It'll most likely be Sunday, February 28th, but we're waiting to hit a milestone in the fabrication of the artwork before we officially announce it. So, but working on a grand opening celebration for that. Lives That Bind, I sent you the link. That's our newest art bank acquisitions, the exhibition that's on the main floor of City Hall. I hope you've all had a chance to go to Public Art Archive, and we have videos with the curator, Jill Moniz, really wonderful. Naomi did a great job getting all of that onto the Public Art Archive, so I encourage you to check that out. This was from a meeting that we had pre-COVID, I think it was January probably, where we had a recommendation to name one of our artist fellowships after Kate Johnson, who has since died, and just a very prominent artist, and we're so honored to be able to honor her in this way. Every year there will be one artist fellowship in media arts that will be given out with a fellowship under her name. So that has been put in place in our grant guidelines that are now live right now, our fellowship guidelines. So we will have the first Kate Johnson Fellow for you to approve in the coming months. So really happy to be able to do that. And Michael, there's the 18th Street event honoring Kate is coming up next month. Do you want to just talk briefly about that?
Yeah, and thank you, those who knew her. I'm actually coming to you from the Kate Johnson Memorial Media Lab, which is the renamed studio that she worked in. So March 20th, about a week before the 1-year anniversary of her passing, 18th Street is going to present online what amounts to the first celebration of life for her, where David Bowie's pianist, pioneering feminist performance artist Barbara T. Smith, S. Pearl Sharp, numbers of people from a variety of communities locally and around the world. Try to tell the very hard to contextualize life of one of Santa Monica's artists, and I thank you for doing this. For those of you who don't know, she was my life partner for 27 years. And thank you all.
Thank you, Michael. So, and last is our next meeting will likely be in May, where we will have grant awards for you all to approve as part of our budgeting process. So the Arts Commission approves the community participation, the CAP grants, and the fellowships. So you will have those coming before you in May is what we're thinking will be the next meeting. One thing to note is I think I've shared that as part of our budgeting process, when the city took so many budgeting hits last spring, we really worked hard to save our grant budget because we knew how important it would be for our grantees to have that stability. So the operating support program was a 2-year grant program, and it was coming up for new application cycle this next year. And so we brought to City Council as part of the next year's budgeting process a request to extend the current grants 2 more years. So that means that our staff has limited capacity to open up a new grant operating support grant cycle, and then our grantees are obviously very lacking in capacity and staff right now. So everyone is very pleased that the City Council approved that 2-year extension, and so our operating support grants will continue for the next 2 years. The budget amount has not been approved yet, but we are planning and thinking that it will be the same amount, a flat amount, and that we won't see more decreases to our budget in the grant fund category. So we'll certainly keep you updated on that. But our grantees are very, very relieved that this got approved to be extended. And we continue to convene our grantees monthly, and really have created a nice network with them in this time for them to share resources and problem solving and how to go virtual and all that stuff. So it's been good.
Well done. Congratulations. It's amazing in this time that art still gets made, art still gets happened, and more, I think art has proven its value to the world and keeping what's left of civilization going during these very, very trying times. All right, with that, I'm going to see if there's anyone who has a motion to shut this down for this time until we see each other again.
We don't need to motion to adjourn anymore.
Ooh. Like I said, goodbye.
See you.
Did anyone have any questions for me, though? I kind of flew through my report.
You'll let us know when the virtual event is happening.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yeah, and so Fiona, I mean, what's always a pretty, given that we're only meeting, maybe it looks like quarterly. Yeah, certainly appreciate all and any easy updates you can give us just to keep us apprised of what good work you're doing. So we're just kind of on top of it, so to speak. That'd be great.
Sure. And I want to make sure we've revamped our monthly newsletter, or our newsletter. It's now monthly. I hope you're all getting it. You can sign up on santamonica.gov/arts at the bottom of the page. It's a new format. It really talks a lot about what we're doing. We really try to spotlight our artists that we're working with, our arts organizations, and other things that are coming up. So that's a really good, if you're not on it, I encourage you to, but I also will make sure that I send you all updates as different things go out and get planned.
Great.
All right. Thank you all.
And Marcio, congrats on your first meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Want to do that?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Be well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Congrats. Miles, oops, he's gone.
We need to stop broadcast and then stop recording.